And hello, cinema peeps. Hey, cinema peeps. Happy Tuesday. Wink, wink. It's definitely Tuesday. I'm recording this. Wink, 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 wink. Oh, boy.
This is the first, technically first podcast of December, so...
Oh, geez, yeah.
The
first recorded
Christmas
episode. Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Round of applause.
It's so good. But I mean, obviously already watched our newest episode.
Yes.
Obviously. So yeah. It's like, first day recording in December, and then we had our first episode in December. Like, wow.
Right, okay. So this would be the second episode of December, technically, if you're watching this.
True. But this is still technically the first episode being recorded in
yes.
December.
Yeah.
I know, like,
no one...
Wow. Oof, I don't know about you, Kendra, but I am...
Feeling 22?
You're so smart. I'm feeling ready to go. I know I don't look it, but I feel ready to go.
Okay, good. I like to hear that. You look extra cozy, extra festive.
Thank you.
I love that sweater. We always have to show Kaylee's beautiful festive sweaters. I might need to take a page out of her book and start collecting some holiday sweaters myself, because every time we do the podcast, we thought about the idea of getting festive dressed up for each of our Hallmark episodes, and I'm like, I have like no festive gear, so this is as festive as it gets. This and my Hallmark flannel shirt. So
listen, it takes time. Okay, you start with one piece. Then the next year you get another piece.
Yeah.
It's all about building it up.
We're just getting creative on my end, that's all.
Hey, that's what it's all about.
Yes.
Being creative.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so I guess we'll do a review of episode, I guess it'll be 5 of Finding Mr. Christmas.
Yes. Yeah.
And then, I don't know about you, I took a pause from like Hallmark Channel movies, but I did watch 2 Netflix Christmas movies.
Oh, okay.
But yes, let's get into Finding Mr. Christmas episode. Yes. Funny Man, Funny Bones.
Funny Man, Funny Bones. Laughing All the Way, I believe it was titled.
Was it?
I think so.
Awesome.
It had to be Christmas related somehow. So
of course. I'm so silly. I never think that way. But yes, we open at the end of last episode at the elimination challenge, where Jonathan's just like, so are you guys gonna save Parker? Like that's a Hallmark thing we do. Yeah. It was just kind of funny, just because like they were like pretending to talk about it, even though they were like, oh, it's just, Parker's a great guy, but like, one less guy, it's a competition. And I was like, yeah, whatever.
They gotta build the drama. I
know, but I'm just like, well, we could just like save so much time if we just pretended, but we just like, we're gonna have one. But yeah, so they end up saving him. And
I love that Jonathan was like, run to him, go quick before he leaves, tell him that we're saving him, quick go, and they're all just like running down the lane.
Which made me think, after I rewatched it again this weekend, I was like, how far is the Elimination Studio?
Right?
Like, how does that...
I would love to see the behind the scenes of how they filmed that, because it's got there's got to be 2 different studios, or unless that whole like beautiful winter wonderland at the end is like in the garage of that house or something, and they're like, okay guys, we need you to come down to the end of the driveway, and when we say go, run back to the house.
Now we actually don't see inside the garage, so could be.
If that is the case, that's a big ass garage. Just saying.
That's a big ass garage, one of those.
Right.
So all the boys have a great time, a good old powwow. And then we go to our festive where they had to use, I guess it was like a foam sponge looking marshmallow to sop up some brown liquid into a cup. Yeah. It was supposed to be a marshmallow and hot chocolate, but I gotta say, that looked disgusting as hell.
I had so many questions when they first showed this challenge. I was like, is it hot? And also, at first, before he explained it, which I'm glad Jonathan ended up explaining afterwards, I was like, they have to fill up that entire cup? It's going to take them hours! And then he was like, we've already filled it up a little bit so that, like, you only have this much to do. I'm like, thank God. Like, they're going to be here forever.
They probably tested it and they were like, fuck. This is...
right?
No.
They're like, we did not think this through.
Right, and they still got they're pretty sweaty and covered in that brown muck at the end. I was like, but your boys, Blake and Hayden won, and it was a big deal because they haven't won any festive face-offs. So, you know, good for them.
Yes.
Which then led into the Star Quality Challenge. I'm nailing it. I'm doing real good. Star Quality Challenge of doing a improv acting scene.
Which was awesome.
With actually Jonathan, Melissa, and their guest judge. I was going to call him Tyler, but that's not his name at all. But again, he's part of the Groomsman trilogy that Jonathan just filmed recently, so not surprised. I think the improv went pretty good. Like, you know, again, I'm more excited when they have to do like these scenes. Like, again, like the more filming challenges. I definitely enjoy them more. Yeah. Yeah, poor Parker. You know, they save the guy and he fumbles the ball. Yeah. I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but even after they saved him after elimination, he gets eliminated again because during his improv performance, anytime he did like his quirk, they had like little quirks they had to do if they heard a certain sound. So he had to cock like a chicken? Cluck. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Cluck like a chicken when he heard, I can't remember if it was the telephone ring or the jingle bells. Those were usually the two sounds.
One of the two, yeah.
Because that was the other fun thing is they had to do in duos, you know?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, so technically that's 4 people in an improv scene. And, you know, our resident improv queen could speak on this, but, like, that's kind of hard.
It is very, very much, especially when, like, well, as you know, like the whole point of improv is to be listening. You have to listen and respond. And so it's hard enough to do that one-on-one, especially when you're not experienced in that kind of stuff. But to do it with 4 people, and like you could see the looks on their faces, and I could relate having done like the improv class, like when you've got people coming at you and you're like, and you're trying to think of something to say, so you're like, yes, like you're just kind of like in panic mode a little bit, but
yes,
like when Jonathan, I can't remember the one guy's name, but he was like, do that thing, and he just kept being like no, what? And I'm like,
oh yeah, he was like, take your shirt off.
Yeah, take your shirt off. Yeah. He's like, what? No. That's like that's the one rule you're never supposed to do in improv is never deny what they're giving you. Don't say no. You can't say no.
I mean, I felt for Jonathan because I've definitely been in improv scenes where I'm like, no, and sometimes like you don't mean to, but sometimes like it's just your gut reaction to be like, no, you know. Yeah. So I mean, improv is a lot trickier than you really think it is.
It is.
You know, but surprisingly, again, Blake keeps saying he has, like, no experience, and I'm like, stop lying to me, man. You clearly, like, felt pretty comfortable doing the scene.
Yeah.
Unless he's just that charismatic of a man. And in that case, fuck you. Like, what do you mean?
Right.
How can you just come to these challenges and be like, I'm just gonna be myself? I'm like, bro, I have to give myself that pep speech every day, and it still doesn't work. Like, what do you mean? Yep. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Yep.
Gosh darn. But yeah, Blake's and Hayden's was very funny. Elijah, like, he was doing really good. I did feel bad because he obviously felt a lot of pressure because Parker's like, I'm just gonna coattail off of you. Yeah. And he was like,
right there when he said that, I was like, ooh, Parker, you're not helping yourself.
Right. I mean, I didn't think he didn't do bad in the scene. It was just, yeah, he kept facing away from the camera when he had to cluck like a chicken.
Yeah.
And then it was Ezra and Jonathan for the other one. And again, they didn't do too badly. Again, I give chops because, yeah, like, improv is hard, and to, like, have a cohesive scene with 4 people, that's tough.
It's tough, yeah.
But, yeah, Parker and Jonathan were at the bottom, and unfortunately, Parker got sent home. So I don't want to say like, well, that was a colossal waste of time, but whatever.
But like we said last episode, and like Jonathan says on the show, Hallmark's all about giving second chances.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you could see it in his eyes. He really wanted to be there, but I think his strong suit is definitely modeling. Like he's more of a silent talent than the more type acting stuff. So yeah.
I also felt really bad just because, like, I wouldn't say it's cockiness, but he was just so confident. He's like, I crushed that. I have nothing to worry about. And I'm just sitting there like, ooh. Oh boy, get fucking ready.
I think I had probably just a little bit more fun watching Jonathan watch them in the back too.
Oh yeah.
Just
he's having a hootenanny of a time,
right?
And like, good for him. Hootenanny of a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that was episode, laughing sticks all the way. But like I said, I got like those early previews, so I'm really curious about this emotional scene because I think I know we've kind of had our picks for the most part, but I feel like that will determine a lot for me.
Yes, definitely, I agree.
Because again, I know we'd be like, oh, quote. And I mean, I think my picks are still the same. Like, it's still Hayden. Again, Elijah's, like, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I know Hamilton, but at least, like, in improv, he crushes it. He's good in all areas, but this will be, I think, the biggest test. And
agreed.
Yeah, so and again, like I kind of said last time, I'm so worried about Jonathan, like he's got good charisma, but like the odd time with like the improv, it's like, charisma and good looks can only get you so far. Like you do need to, maybe take a workshop or two, to understand them improv.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I think improv is at least is a nice asset to have on set, but I don't think really a requirement. Like, if you don't want to go off script, like, I think that's totally fine. Like, that's a conversation you can have with the director.
Right. I think it also depends on the director as well, or the writer, or whoever, because sometimes, again, this is Hallmark, so, well, this aside, but, like, some other projects, people are like, no, you have to stick to the script, it has to be word for word, don't improv, don't ad-lib, kind of thing, right? And so, in that aspect, you don't really need to worry about it, but, I don't know, I feel like having that in your back pocket for anything is just helpful because it kind of just gives you that extra bit of oomph, the
only time I don't like improv is when the person doing it is very cocky and they're like, I'm really good at it, and then it's like, actually you're not.
Yeah.
It's like you said, like the biggest part of improv surprisingly is listening and then responding to your partner, where I feel sometimes people try to take over a scene. They're like, I got this. And it's like, no, you have to flow together. But
that's the difference too, is that, I think a lot of people, because they watch like Whose Line and they see how funny they are on there and how much fun it is. And they're like, yeah, I'm funny, I can do that. And then you go in there with that thought and it's like, yeah, okay, like good that you've got like some sort of foundation of sense of humor and stuff. But if you go in there thinking I'm the funny one, I'm going to be the one to deliver the punchlines every time, you're going to find that it's not gonna, like, you're gonna kind of come up shorthanded after a while, because you have to, like, my teacher, he was saying, like, you can't, like, everyone has their strong suits. Like, some people are the punchline people, some people are the callback people, some people are the heart, some people are the brain. Like, there's all the different, like, elements to being different strong suits in improv, but being able to kind of hone all of them at once is helpful, because then you're more versatile within, creating that scene.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I am really looking forward to this next episode.
Me too.
I am so curious about this emotional scene.
Yes. And
I know we're hoping and throwing early predictions, but maybe the actress of the movie is going to come on this one, because that would be a good one for her to come.
I think that would be really interesting if they did
Hopefully.
that. Like, even if they do some kind of chemistry read or chemistry test, I think it would be interesting.
Like, I think they'd be insane not to.
Yeah.
Like, because again, you could have, like I said, Elijah has it in the, like, not in the bag, but like I said, like he's really good and all around. Like he's a good actor. Obviously, he can sing, and he's obviously good at improv.
He's a
but maybe when it comes to the chemistry read, it doesn't work.
Yeah, who knows?
You know, and that's obviously I think an aspect that kind of sucks because that is just depending on just how you mesh, and then you know there are other layers to that. But I really think probably the second to last challenge has to be a chemistry read.
I would think so.
If not, that is absurd. That is absurd. I know it's just TV, but like that is what? That is no.
At this point, it kind of feels like it's not intentional, but we're really putting this movie on quite the platform. Like
I know when we watch
it's not the best Hallmark movie we've ever seen. I don't want it. Yeah.
And I mean, apart from Three Wise Men and a Boy, like I'm not like that's like I haven't been mostest. Oh my god. Like there's no other Hallmark film coming out this Christmas that I'm like this excited about.
Yeah.
The outcome of it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. That was Finding Mr. Christmas, episode 5. All right, let's get to some little movie watching.
Yeah.
So like I kind of teased, I watched 2 Netflix Christmas films. I watched Our Secrets with Lindsay Lohan.
I did too.
Oh, fuck yes.
Yes.
And I watched The Merry Gentleman.
Oh my gosh, Kate, you're gonna have to tell me what you thought of that. I haven't seen it yet, but I really would love to know what you think of it to determine if I need to watch it.
Okay. But before I already want to jump into our secrets, but was there anything else you watched this week that we should talk about?
Well, I watched Holiday Mismatch with the Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Nice.
But I know you said you're gonna save that for a future, possibly with your.
I hope so.
Your friends. So I will hold off on that one.
Okay.
And then I just rewatched Spirited again because why not, right? With Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. It's such a good movie.
My mom hasn't watched that. Maybe I'll get her to watch that with me this weekend. Maybe.
Oh, just anybody. If you haven't seen it yet, if there's 2 reasons to get Apple TV Plus, it's Ted Lasso and Spirited. Honestly.
Yeah, actually,
just for that.
Bad Sisters.
And
Bad Sisters is great.
There you go.
Bad Sisters is great.
Yeah.
Okay, let's dive into our secrets.
Our little secrets.
Our little secrets.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know about you. So my mom was actually, she saw a preview on E-Talk about it, and we kind of saw like an interview with her, Kristen Chenoweth, and the other actor. I'm gonna probably be calling him Ezra a lot because that's who he played in Pretty Little Liars. So
I was gonna say,
apologize
isn't he from
right
Pretty Little
now.
Liars?
Yeah, so I'm gonna apologize now because I'm probably gonna call him that multiple times. But to me, my mom was like, actually, I kind of want to watch that. I was like, fuck shit. I'm like, all right, we gotta watch this. So me and my mom sat down and we watched Our Little Secrets. And I'm not gonna lie, the first 4 minutes, I was like, did I click on the right film? Because it opens with an animation, like a kind of like a rough animation for like 4 minutes. And I'm like...
I'll tell you right now, that probably the first 20 minutes of the movie, I was very... like unsure how I felt about it, and then it really picked up, and I was like,
fair.
okay,
because the first 5 minutes I was like, is this the right film? And like I couldn't figure out. I was like, why choose that starting point?
Yeah, there were many questions.
It took me to like the end of the movie, and even my mom was like, that was so weird. And I was like, I guess because, sorry, I know I'm jumping a little ahead, but like the Ezra character, he like does like architectural drawings, I guess, and like it impresses Lindsay Lohan.
I didn't even put that together.
But to me, that's not a good enough connection.
Yeah,
because that was the only thing I can kind of like rationalize.
Yeah,
because otherwise, like it made zero sense to me.
I feel like for the first, like I said, for the first little half of that movie, I feel like a lot of the choices that were made were either due to budget reasons or something else, because that whole animation sequence I felt like left us a little bit short-handed or empty-handed with the whole chemistry of the two of them. I felt like if we had got to see the live action of them growing up as best friends and that little romantic connection and then how it flourished and stuff would have helped me be like, okay, like I can see the romance between the two, but I didn't feel that. And then the second thing was that entire unnecessary like opening credits sequence. I'm like, what was the
all that money
all
went into this? I mean, it was cool, but like, was this the right
It was
choice
just-
for this movie?
Honestly, it was just Netflix's way of being like, this is how we can promote all of our content.
I was about to say, I noticed, I was like, is that Stranger Things?
Yeah, literally, I think there was like 3 or 4 things that are Netflix like original content that they were putting in this timeline of like to show time passing. I'm like, you could have just cut to the next scene and been like 10 years later. Like,
yeah. And it's hard because it is like a really cool sequence. It's very impressive, like the work that went into it, but like again,
like
kind of like you.
It just felt like a whole different movie.
Yeah.
Like, I would have kept the animation and then went right into the movie, but that whole thing felt like it belonged in a different movie. Like, I don't know, it was weird. Yeah.
I just woof.
You can
Weird
see
choices.
how heated we were about this.
And it's hard because I did see Lindsay Lohan. It's a producer of it, so I'm just like, but I'm also like, girl, let's talk. Speaking of chemistry, I'm not gonna lie. So after we have the awkward animations for like 5 minutes, we cut ahead to Lindsay Lohan's character has accepted a job in London, England,
and her character's name was Avery, and his was Logan.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna call him Logan then. That'll be a lot easier. And basically, he gets her back to her family home where it's like, surprise, it's your going away party.
Yes.
The dad's like, oh man, you guys are such a great couple. Like,
I can see you going all the way.
And he goes, oh, I read you. And so he gets thrown to like say a speech, and instead he's like, I'm gonna take a knee. And even her dad was like, yo. And he was like, I got this. And even his mom was like, yo. And so basically, I think the idea was that he was insecure about her leaving. So he's like, oh, if I propose, she has to
reason to stay, yeah.
And she was like, that's not it at all. You know, like, I don't know if I got a job or like, I'd be like, go to fucking England. What the fuck do you mean?
Yeah.
But for me, the wild thing was that out-of-pocket comment being like, your dead mom? She'd be ashamed of you. And I was like, pardon me? So, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. At the end of the movie, I did ask my mom, I was like, how do you feel? Do you think they should have, like, stayed together? Mom's like, I think so. And I was like, I don't think so. Maybe I'm just a little bit of a petty person, but I was like, that's wild! Like, if he was upset at the failed proposal, sure. But I was like, why can't I bring your dead mom into this? I was like...
Yeah.
So, I mean, it made it very difficult because then I think I sent you a video of one of this comedian on Instagram. I believe his handle is Fat Carrie Bradshaw. Love the name. But even he points out, he's like, he never like atones for that. He never goes, hey, you know, that was really fucked up of me to say. You know, I was young and I was very insecure and I made a very stupid choice. Like, they kind of have like a nice scene in like her like parents' home, but there was never like a, yeah, I'm sorry, that was like the biggest dick move on planet Earth.
Yeah.
So, by that reason, I don't think they should be together, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. But anyways, let's continue on. So after, yes, the very strange opening sequence of animation, your dead mom's ashamed of you, and the Netflix
weird-ass
highlight reel.
Shit. Yeah.
So now we are in present day, and both Avery and Logan are talking to their new significant others, and they're talking about how they're going to their significant others'
parents' home for Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it's a very long sequence to then discover, oh my god, it's the same place.
Yeah. Which was it was kind of a funny way to set that up, because like Lindsay Lohan comes in, and because she's not really, not that the other guy was, but like she's not of that type of family dynamic where like to give everyone some context, like her boyfriend's family is very like obviously wealthy and kind of you know, a little snooty. I think they're like a hardcore Christian family, it seems like, too. And like literally best way to sum it up is like their mom wants them painted as a portrait every year as like the family portrait. So it's that kind of
she
vibe.
looks very creepy and all.
So anyways, Lindsay Lohan's character is very insecure and like, you know, nervous to meet the family because she wants to, you know, wants them to like her, and so she shows up, and she didn't have time to change, so she shows up in like jeans and a leather jacket and everything, and
and I feel sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like she must have met the family a couple times, because it feels like she already knew that the mom doesn't like her already. So I think
maybe.
I think they've had very small interactions, but this is like,
this was like the big family Christmas thing,
right?
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know. I love Kristen Chenoweth. I love everything that she is in, and that comment, that offhanded comment. Oh, it's a twist off, nice and easy, and just stares at Lindsay Lohan. I'm like, ah,
right.
Ah! Oh God, girl, you go.
Yeah.
And and to add on top of everything Kendra just said, Kristen Chenoweth is a boy mom. So she loves her little son to death, and nobody is perfect for him.
Yes.
Into contrast of Logan's relationship with her daughter, he can do no wrong. And this is where, like, I don't know. I want to nick the movie a little bit, because I feel like that could have been a really cool, like they obviously really played into these dynamics with Kristen Chenoweth, but I feel like there should be something more, because I think to be said about, like treating, slightly like different people,
Yeah.
Like who your son brings home, like, is always like, you're like, oh, she's never good enough, but then whoever like your daughter brings home, it's like, oh wow. And again, I hate to bring this up, but Logan like never really acknowledges that. He's just like, oh, she's really nice. I'm like, you are so, maybe that's another reason I'm like, you're so goddamn clueless. What are you fucking talking about? But yeah, so they meet up. When she realizes it's him, Lindsay panics.
Yes.
Avery panics, because she's like, I cannot give this woman any more ammunition.
Yeah. So she's like, we cannot mention at all that we've dated in the past. You do your thing, I'll do my thing, and we will never speak about it. We'll just get through this weekend, and that's that kind of thing, right? And
I mean, like, tops, like, I thought that was, like, brilliant. I thought that was perfect.
Yes. So then the rest of the weekend continues with all the family festivities for Christmas, and all the hijinks and comedy ensues. Starting with, I think, if I remember correctly, the family has to get their portrait painted, and they need to get a Christmas tree. So Logan volunteers to go do it, and Avery ends up, tagging along for the ride. And so then, they have their little banter back and forth about how she should bring a jacket to, be warm, because she's going to be cold, because he knows that, she'll get cold. So she grabs like the nearest jacket she can find from the family closet, and they go off to get a Christmas tree. And then they're supposed to meet the family at church afterwards for Christmas Mass. And on the way there, she is starving because she hasn't eaten all day. So she's looking for food and asking him if he's got snacks, and then she ends up finding a bag of candy in the coat that she's wearing. So she stuffs her face with all the candy, and you already tell, like, oh, something's brewing, something's happening. And so they end up going to church, and they ask her to do a reading. And then she starts getting really giggly and like really hungry, and then Logan starts to notice this and realizes that the gummies, or the candy that that she ate in the pocket, were laced with THC, so she's completely stoned. Which was funny.
That whole sequence, me and my mom were just howling laughing.
Yeah.
It was so good. And then even the best part was when they were leaving the church, because I was going to say Logan's mom, but not. I already forgot. Kristen Chenoweth's character basically is already like not impressed with her. And then the priest guy comes up to talk to her. And of course, she's like ready. She goes, yep. Like an embarrassment, whatever. And he goes, wow, you like really connected with the kids. They're so excited. This is the best ever. And of course, that just pisses her off.
Yeah.
So fucking good. So fucking good.
That was good.
And then part of like the hijinks that continues through the movie is that jacket is owned by their youngest brother, who I found him really funny.
He was very funny.
Like they treat him as if he's like the staff. He's not really like part of the family.
Yeah.
And so he starts blackmailing them because he finds out about the secret and about the gummies. And so he's like, you have to I'm going to ask you for stuff and you're going to have to keep me quiet kind of thing.
Yep.
I was like, God, this is so good. All reaching up to the very fun climax of the Christmas gift exchange.
Yep.
Where bejeebus.
Well, a couple other things in between all that before is you notice that so during one of the family events, one of the family friends comes over to visit, and you kind of sense that there was like some history with Lindsay Lohan's boyfriend and his friend growing up.
Is his name Trap? What was his name?
I can't remember his name. I'll look. We should probably figure this out.
Right? But
it was Cameron.
What's Cameron?
Because it was Cameron, Cassie, Callum. They all had cuz in their name.
Right.
Yeah.
Trap.
So yeah. So Cameron looks like he's got a bit of history with his childhood best friend. Sophie, was her name Sophie?
Yes, her name was Sophie.
Yeah. And so there was that whole thing, which, side note, when they do the whole like going out to the bar and then she has to leave, and then Logan's up late and Cameron comes home really late. I didn't quite understand. Like, I got the gist of they were obviously trying to like insinuate that maybe him and her were doing things they weren't supposed to be doing, but that whole thing wasn't like fully communicated properly, so I was confused. I was like, well, is she just gonna be mad that he stayed out really late, or were they actually like insinuating that he had a fling with her?
What I interpreted from at least that scene before she like starts questioning the relationship with Cameron and Sophie was that it sounds like that's been an issue in the past, that he stays out late with the guys, and maybe I got the vibe that maybe like they've fought about this, and maybe he's kind of like misbehave, and he's like, not respecting this boundary of like, hey, like, please don't like stay out late, like you seem to make bad choices when you're out that late.
Gotcha. Okay.
And basically he's like, hey, Logan, lie for me. And Logan's like, I don't want to lie for you because that's not cool. So at that point I just figured it was just like, he's, they've had this conversation before of like, please don't stay out late and make stupid choices.
Okay.
And he's just trying to be like, yeah, let's be bros, let's just keep hiding it. And he's like, I'm not your bro.
Okay.
And then I think which causes Avery to be more insecure. And then when she's noticing, right, so I can't remember, I think it's Logan who says that at the explosive gift exchange, and then they both had this look of guilt, and then you were like, ugh.
Yeah.
So I didn't think there was anything, like, obviously throughout like their chemistry throughout the like Sophie's and Cameron's, like you could tell something was happening, but when that particular scene you're talking about happened, that's how I interpreted it.
Okay, yeah, because I was confused throughout all of that whole side story there.
So like we said, Cameron is kind of blackmailing Avery and Logan for his silence on the whole them using to date kind of thing.
Yes.
And so one of the things was Cameron got, when they're doing this gift exchange as a family, Cameron got his mom as the Secret Santa, but he did not have a gift. So basically he was like, you guys have to give me your gifts. Yeah. And I can't remember, Avery got somebody who she's like, I can't give you my gift because it doesn't make sense. And then Logan was like, well, I'll give you the gift I was going to give Avery because she was my Secret Santa. So he goes to the closet where I thought there was only 2, but now I feel like there has to have been 3 gifts in the closet. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, the scene still doesn't make sense to me. And they all have the same wrapping. So he gifts one to Cameron saying, yes, this is the gift I was going to
Callum,
give to Avery. Yeah. Sorry, I called him Cam. Sorry, Callum.
Yeah.
My bad. So then at the exchange, Cal? I already said it wrong.
The youngest brother?
Yes. Callum, he gives the gift to Kristen Chenoweth, which turns out to be black lingerie. But earlier in the movie, when they were going to go shop for gifts, Logan's girlfriend said that she would like black lingerie.
Yeah.
But they still gifted Avery a gift, which was the THC gummies. So I would like to rewatch that scene where he like goes into the closet, because to me it's like, was there 3 gifts or 2?
There was a stack of gifts there.
Right, and they're all wrapped the same. Stupid choice. Stupid. Yeah. That's where you use tags and unique wrapping, you idiot. So I was just confused To me, I was more confused with the weed gummies. The lingerie made sense to me because it was supposed to be for his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But the weed gummies just don't make sense to me unless there was another gift involved. Because one thing I just realized we kind of forgot to mention. So on top of them not talking about their relationship while they're there for Christmas, Logan is like, well, hey, maybe I can help you get into, Kristen Chenoweth's good books.
Yes.
Which again, he still doesn't acknowledge that she treats her differently, but whatever.
Yeah. And
then Avery's like, well, I'll help you with your elevator pitch to this condo guy. Because Sophie's parents, the guy's he's not supposedly a contractor, but he's looking for a contractor to help with a project of his.
Yes.
And so Logan's trying to work on a pitch. That's why he was up late when the boyfriend was coming home. And yeah. So what confused me about that is like, if the THC gummies were the gift for Lindsay Lohan's character, that doesn't help her. If anything, that hurts her. Because he's like, wow, here's some weed gummies. I thought you'd like it. Like, you thought the uptight mom... Like, what was the thought process behind that?
See, and this is where I feel like, again, me talking about there were choices made.
Yeah.
That I feel like some of them were poor choices in the overall development of the arc of the story, and especially for the chemistry of them, because the way I interpreted was the intention of that gift was supposed to be their inside joke. And so it was kind of like she opened it up and saw the weed gummies, and that was because he was the only one who knew about it. And so it was like that was like their little inside joke between the two of them, and it was kind of his way of being like, I still care about you in some weird way. I don't know.
I guess, but again, that puts her in like a worse position. You know?
Yeah. Again, I think they tried to focus a lot more on the comedic aspects of this movie more than the romance. So overall, in the end, their whole chemistry it didn't do it for me.
To me, it's like, wow, you're great friends again. That's awesome. But yeah, I would never, again, I felt like clear team, do not be together.
Yeah, and it felt like a lot of the times I was having a hard time figuring out. I know technically, I guess the movie's about both of them, but I felt like the movie focused a lot more on him than it did her. Like in the first half of the movie, it was kind of a little bit more focused around her and everything, and then the latter half of the movie, I felt like he got a lot more screen time and storyline and story arc and stuff. So yeah, so I was a little confused as to like there were just some things missing that kind of could have helped with the whole overall flow of the story, and in the end it was just a very wild hijinks type movie anyway. So
I mean, the falling apart of the gift exchange was still a lot of fun.
Yes, it was very funny.
There was lots, but again, the whole gift thing to me doesn't make sense, because again, if what you're saying is like, I could see an inside joke, but that would hurt her relationship with the mom more, which would be going against what he said he was going to do to help her, so that's why I was like, unless he planned to give that gift outside of the gift exchange, maybe he got her 2 gifts, and that's why it's like, this is so what.
Well, because I think too, because like they were all supposed to, they all were given a name to give to somebody.
Yes,
and I think he just went ahead outside of the game rules and bought something for the girlfriend and for Avery, or no, he got Avery. Sorry, he went and got something outside of the thing, and I think the intention was maybe for her to not open that in front of them, maybe, or I guess that's also why she said, "Oh, it's candy," and didn't say like it was weed gummies or anything. So then at least the mom saw it as, okay, it's just candy. She didn't question it, kind of thing. Yeah.
I still think he's putting her in a very bad spot, but I think you're right. I think there need to be something to be communicated. If that was the intention of like, oh, here's a little private moment between just us.
Yeah, because I don't remember even if there was like a look exchanged after that, or like a moment, like, like usually when something like that happens, it's either she's left, like she's stormed off, and then she goes and opens up the gift, and it's this haha inside joke, and you see that kind of realization, and she's like, oh, okay, or there's like a little note that says something sweet that kind of like connects the whole thing. But right.
Instead, I think he just puts her in an even worse position, because then she has to lie and be like, oh yeah, they're just candy, like don't look at it. And make her like in a weird position. So I was like, that makes zero sense. But the downfall was just hilarious. And as Kendra mentioned, when he goes upstairs, when Logan goes upstairs to get his pitch, that's what he was doing. He's getting his pitch.
That's right. Yeah.
To Sophie's dad. He finds Kristen Chenoweth's husband and Sophie's mom are making out in the closet.
Yes.
And then it just
not
spirals.
expecting.
I know. Which I mean, that's why I kind of like that's what I liked about the movie, that it wasn't just their secret, that it was like, oh, there's so many people who are keeping secrets from each other. So I was like, that's kind of cool. I like that because then it made the movie more interesting, and it obviously gave these characters a little more of a dimension, not just being like, I am in the background.
It gave everyone ammunition for that whole like ultimate climax to just kind of like
to just explode, which was fabulous.
Yes.
But then so all the secrets come out, so then Avery's like, I need to leave. Because again, she confronts her boyfriend, and basically he said nothing about his relationship with him and Sophie, and so he's like, well, that's enough for me. I'm gonna fucking leave.
Yep.
You know, and then she ends up buying the family home because, sorry, I forgot to mention, the dad wants to sell it at the beginning of the film.
Avery's dad at the beginning of the film wants to sell the home because he's retired, and they were not moving to Hawaii, but they went on vacation to like Mexico or Hawaii,
I think they wanted to
like
downsize, but that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But yeah, so she buys the home, and then she ends up bullying Kristen Chenoweth's character to be like, hey, here's Logan's pitch. Please give it to, I wish I could remember the guy's name, but he was also in Mean Girls. He was the principal.
Yes.
Because obviously after that huge everyone's secrets being out, he did not get to share his elevator pitch with the guy. And then he luckily was able to do it, but then she snuck in his extra drawings, but apparently that's what pushed it over the top. And he was like, I want you to be ahead of this project for me. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, and then they get together because the pitch is successful. Then they're like, yay, let's be together. Even though I think it's very clear me and Kendra are like, you guys shouldn't be together. That's wild. But being said, with all these little weird things, I did enjoy the film, though.
The comedy was awesome.
Really helped it.
And
I think it was 10 out of 10.
Yes, I definitely think Kristen Chenoweth definitely made this movie what it was. Mm-hmm. The whole like family dynamic dysfunction and like that, all that stuff was very entertaining. Mm-hmm. Lindsay Lohan shines. I mean, I'm glad that she like sticks to what she knows, not like she's always been great at comedy, and I'm glad that she still leans into that, coming back and like having her comeback with acting and stuff like that. Like she is very, very good at the comedic stuff. So that helped a lot, really, like with this movie. But yeah, I just felt like the chemistry between the two of them was lacking, and there was a lot of choices made that were confusing in this movie. That
Animation,
did not help the flow of the
long. Yeah. That was the longest 10 years later like thing ever. Yeah.
It felt like one of those movies where they had a vision, they had an idea, and then Netflix came in and was like, we need to make some changes.
Let me just push this button right here.
Yeah.
My last comment, I don't know why I thought it was so funny. Lindsay Lohan's character Avery makes a weird jab against Logan, being like, oh, you're dating really young.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's just like his character in Pretty Little Liars. He just can't get away from it. But then he also made that weird comment right after. He's like, well, you know, being your age, you know, like, you have to settle down now. You're getting old. I'm like, I'm sorry, I thought you two are the same age.
Yeah.
So why is that different? Again, that could have been a very cool thing to, like, explore. But, nah, they just let it as a weird comment, and I was like, bitch, you're the same age. What the fuck you talk about? You're fucking old. You need to settle down, too.
Right? Again, I felt like that whole animation sequence at the beginning could have been, like, they should have shown something, because I did not get the vibe that these two were childhood best friends, grew up together, and fell in love. Like that,
as I said,
I
thought I was watching the wrong movie.
Yeah.
I was like, did I click? Because there is like an animated movie. I think it came out today as recording. It's called That Christmas.
Okay.
On Netflix, and it looks really cute and funny. So I'm really looking forward to that's one like everyone in our family is like excited to watch. So
nice.
I'm hoping maybe we could again sit down and watch that in Spirited, you know.
Yeah.
In a little Christmas spirit. But yeah, I 100% agree. Even if it's just like a small montage of just like of them, like you said, growing up, to see that, because otherwise we just opened on them and Lindsay Lohan leaving. And so to me it just looks like it was a bad relationship, and it's like, yeah, girl, dump his ass. You don't fucking need him. Yeah. I think we're on the exact same page. There was a lot of weird choices, but the comedy's really good. So
so watch for the comedy.
Yes.
And
try not to ask too many questions.
Just
might hurt your head.
Suspend disbelief as much as you can with this movie. And ultimately, I mean, like I said, I'm happy that Lindsay Lohan's, coming back and doing her thing. She is killing it, and I don't know. What do you think? Out of this movie compared to the one from a couple years ago, the Falling for Christmas, which one do you like better?
See, when I actually was thinking about that after the movie was done.
Yeah.
So we're already on point. I think the comedy's better in this one, but I think the chemistry is better in the Falling for Christmas.
I agree. Yeah.
And I think that's more on Ezra's part. I'm just kidding. It's all on him. He's a weird. No. I think the movie just didn't set them up. They just didn't set up the relationship, like you said, to believe that these were wow, we're together, we're lovers. I'm like, these two people hate each other. You guys need to separate yourselves.
Right? Again, I don't know. There's something in me just based off of watching it tells me that they had a vision, they had a story there, and then Netflix was like, in order to make it our own, we need you to add a few of these here, take away a few of these, and put this gigantic timeline that promotes all of our content in it for the opening credits. Thank you.
Now, to be fair, Netflix does that regardless. They're like, any movie on Netflix, they're like, you have to promote another Netflix product by law.
Yeah.
So maybe this was their weird compromise.
I guess.
I don't know. I agree. It was very weird, but yeah. Overall, I agree with Kendra. Stay for the comedy, and then maybe try to block everything else. But yes, Merry Gentlemen. Now, comparing this one to Our Little Secrets, I think Our Little Secrets is better.
Honestly, I'm not surprised.
Right. Now, to be fair, I was constantly making the comparison to the Full Monty. It was hard not to.
Okay.
Because they're basically they're light male entertainers that is Christmas themed.
So it's not full Magic Mike, but...
Correct.
Okay.
It's definitely more in the Full Monty end than the Magic Mike end.
Okay.
PG safe Christmas holiday thing. But yeah, they open up with like a girl dancing group that I guess is supposed to be the Wish version of the City Rockettes. Like, what a coinky dink.
Okay.
And the lead girl, Britt Robertson or whatever, she gets told she is too old and has to step down from the dance club. Which, I meant to look up the ages. I'm like, I know they're trying to play this girl as 30, but unfortunately with her bone structure, she's like forever in her mid-20s, which is a good thing. She'll always look young. Yeah. But like, they were really trying to sell like, you're too old. And I'm like, you are fine.
Why is that the thing now?
I don't know.
Why is that the trope?
I'm okay. I might do. I know I just said we're running out of time, but I'm still going to Google that because it really, and then maybe it made it very hard for me to like understand her relationship with Chad Michael Murray, because to me he looks like he's in his mid-40s, and I think he is. So I'm just kind of like, where are we going with here? Yeah, Netflix. I don't quite understand. Confusion. The age gap really hurt me, and again, maybe that's a me issue, but like I don't know. Even like when I saw the posters, like looking at them, I was like. And now, like, after watching them, they're like, you're too old. I'm like, get a fucking life. And again, maybe just because I was looking for more comedy. And again, maybe it was unfair for me to think it was going to be something like the Full Monty, where it's really funny. And I mean, again, I know, like, the Full Monty actually is a very, like, deep and... Not deep, but there's, like, the subtext of, like... These guys are, like, desperate because it's, like, during a time where, like, it was just, like, rough on jobs. Like, you couldn't get a job. Like, a lot of those scenes are, like, at job centers where they're trying to, like, pick up work and they can't get any work. So out of desperation, they're like, we gotta strip. And, like, the comedy is them coming together, being more secure about themselves. But, like, also they're, you know, fighting all these other things where, like, there is kind of like the parents are gonna lose the Jingle Shack or whatever the fuck it's called.
The Jingle Shack.
And so they're like, yeah, we'll do, like, a little night strip show to, like, ease that tension. So, like, the first 30 minutes happen, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Because, like, the story beats felt so off to me, because I felt like in the first 30 minutes, I was like, is the film done? But no, I checked. We still had another hour. I was like, okay. Because I just assumed there was going to be more comedy with, like, them trying to, like, figure out the routine, and, like, when they finally get it, you know, then they start getting good. But, like, they kind of do, like, kind of work on the routine. They do their first show, and they're like, we made $2,000, but we need $28,000 more dollars. And then they just go, like, the scene was so weird, because it felt like it was clearly, like, either a scene that needed to be in the middle of the film or near the end, where they're like, well, that's it. I'm like, you just did one show and that's it? What do you mean? And Chad Michael Murray's character, Luke, who's only known this girl, Ashley, for, like, less than a week, is like, I got you a golden wreath necklace. And, like, they go on, like, a little walkie date. And I'm like, this definitely feels like mid of the movie. Like, I felt like we sped through a lot in this first 30 minutes. I don't know if that's a good idea. But yeah, it was very underwhelming. There wasn't really any funny bits to it. And like I said, I think they had pretty decent chemistry.
Okay.
But again, it was wild to me that they're like, you're too old. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, she's in her 30s. She's not. What?
Yeah. I don't get it.
Also, Chad Michael Murray also made this weird choice. It took me until this morning to realize he was doing, like, a Matthew McConaughey laugh. While he was talking his out, he'd be like, ha. I'm like, what the fuck was that? It happens multiple times, and I'm like, someone on set should have told her that was not a good choice.
Oh no.
It was really weird.
Oh god.
But yeah, so it was a little bit of a letdown. A little bit of a letdown.
Oh man.
I feel like they really could have played up the comedic chops so easily. Like, it was handed to them on a silver platter, you know?
Yeah.
It could have been really funny, but they didn't really go for funny. So I was like, lame.
Interesting.
Lame.
Very interesting. Well, based off that, I'm going to be even more curious to see what you think about Hot Frosty.
I am so excited for Hot Frosty. I feel like that's gonna get us back on top,
right?
You know.
Well, we'll see. I'm like I said, I'm excited to know your thoughts. But I feel like at the end of all this, we need to definitely do. I know we're doing our Hallmark, like, tier list and stuff, but we should definitely do a little, like, summary of Netflix's attempt at some Christmas romantic comedies as well.
I was gonna slap them in there too. I was like, you guys can come over. We know what you're trying to do.
But, like, after we've
Jump
seen
ship.
them all, if we're like, okay, like, you know, should Netflix continue doing this, or should they, you know, like, that kind of thing.
I think the answer is always no, Netflix. The answer should be no, but you don't learn, so that's fine. That's fine.
I'm honestly shocked that Netflix wasn't the one to jump on the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce storylines. You'd think that they would have been the ones to do the whole, like, let's jump on their storyline and turn it into a romantic comedy for Christmas.
Well, Hallmark had it covered, and then
they got to it
there
first.
was another channel that did one, and it's almost a carbon it's even worse because the girl is a pop star and the guy is a football player.
Yeah.
I don't think I can. I'm not gonna watch.
No.
I can't.
No.
But I think that'll do it for today's episode.
It's a jam-packed episode.
It is a jam-packed episode, and guys, let us know in the comments down below. I know we say it, but you should. Let us know how you're enjoying Mr. Christmas. Which Netflix movie do you think should win the ultimate Christmas prize? Should it be Hot Frosty? Should it be Little Lies? Our little secrets?
Yep.
Little Lies. I'm pretty Little Liars. or married gentlemen. Let us know in those comments down below. And consider leaving a little video, a little likesy, and consider subscribing to Pretty Cool Cows, in my opinion. I know we kept talking about the beginning, but like, you know, like December will slowly wrapping up. We'll be, you know, releasing our last couple episodes of the year. So stay tuned, because we've got more. We've got more. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Watch all the content, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Monkey.
And slap.